We've eaten well this evening. That's because we live in the suburbs of London and because our name is Smith. Potatoes are very good fried and fat. The salad oil was not rancid. The oil from the grocer at the corner is better quality than the oil from the grocer at the bottom of the street. It is even better oil than the grocer from across the street. However, I prefer not to tell them that their oil is bad. However, the oil from the corner is still the best. Mark did the potatoes very well this evening. Last time, he did not do them very well. I did not like them when they were well done. The fish was fresh. It made my mouth water. I had 2 helpings. No, 3 helpings. However, you also had 3 helpings. The third time it took less than the first 2 times, and as for me, I took a great deal more. It is usually you who eats more. It's not appetite that you lack. But still, the soup was perhaps a little too salty. It was even saltier than you. It had too many leeks and not enough onions. I regret that I didn't advise Mark to add some anise stars. Next time I'll know better. Our little boy wanted to drink some beer. He's gonna love getting tiddly. He's like you. At table, did you notice how he stared at the bottle? But I poured some water into the jug from his glass. He was thirsty and he drank it. Helen, she is like me. She's a good manager. She's thrifty. She plays the piano. She never asks to drink English beer. She's like her little daughter, who only drinks milk and only eats porridge. It's obvious she's only 2. She's named Peggy. The quince and bean pie was marvelous, but it would have been nice to have a small Australian burgundy with a spoon. But I did not bring the bottles to the table because I did not wish to set the children a bad example of gluttony. They must learn to be sober and temperament. Mrs. Parker knows a Romanian grocer by the name of Popescu Roosevelt, who just came over from Constantinople. He's a great specialist in yogurt. He even has a diploma from the School of Yogurt Making at Arianople. Tomorrow, I shall buy a large pot of native Romanian yogurt from him. One doesn't often find such things here in the suburbs of London. Yogurt is great for the stomach, the kidneys, the appendicitis, and the apotheosis. It was Dr. Mackenzie King who told me that. He's the one that takes good care of the children of our neighbors, the Johns. He's a good doctor. One can't trust him. He never prescribes any medicine that he has not tried out on himself first. Before operating on Parker, he had his own liver operated on first. Although he was not the least bit ill.
But how does it happen that the doctor pulled through while Parker died?
Because the operation was successful in the doctor's case, but not in Parker's.
But Mackenzie's not a very good doctor. The operation should have succeeded with both of them, or else they both should have died.
Why?
A conscientious doctor must die with his patient if they can't get well together. A captain of the ship must go down with his ship into the briny deep. He does not survive alone.
No. One cannot compare a patient with a ship.
Why not? A ship has its diseases too. Moreover, your doctor is as hale as a ship. That's why he should have died along with his patient, like a captain in a ship.
Oh, I haven't thought of that. And then, what conclusion do you draw from this?
That all doctors are quacks, and all patients too. Only the Royal Navy is honest in England.
But not sailors.
Naturally. Okay, here's something I don't understand. In the paper, they always give the age of the recently deceased person, but never the age of the newly born. That doesn't make any sense.
I never thought of that.
Says here that Bobby Watson died.
My God, the poor man, when did he die?
Why do you pretend to be astonished? The man's been dead for 2 years. Surely you remember we attended his funeral a year and a half ago?
Oh yes, I do remember. I remembered it right away. But what I don't understand is why you yourself was so surprised to see it in the paper.
It wasn't in the paper. I mean, his death was announced 3 years ago. I remember through an association of ideas.
What a pity. He was so well preserved.
Poor Bobby. He'd been dead for 4 years, yet his corpse was still warm. A veritable living corpse. And how cheerful he was.
Poor Bobby.
Which poor Bobby do you mean?
It is his wife that I mean. She is called Bobby too. Since they both share the same name, you could never tell them apart when they were together. It was only after he died that you could really tell which was which. And there are still people today that offer their condolences to him. Do you know him?
Yes. I met her once by chance at Bobby's funeral.
I never seen her. Is she pretty?
She has regular features, yet one cannot say she's pretty. She's too big, too stout. She does not have regular features, although one could say she's very pretty. She's too short, too thin. She's a voice teacher.
We shall have to go to their wedding. When do they plan on getting married?
Next spring at the latest.
We have to go to the wedding.
We shall have to get them a wedding present. Wonder what?
Why don't we give them one of the 7 silver salvers that were given to us during our wedding? They've never been any use to us.
Well,
Poor Bobby.
which poor Bobby, you mean?
It's his wife that I mean. How could she have managed?
Well, she didn't have any children.
That's all they needed, children. How sad.
Well, she's still young. She might very well remarry. She looks so well in mourning. Although, you know, I remember meeting their children, Bobby and Bobby.
They had children.
Yeah,
What were their names?
Bobby and Bobby. And you know Bobby Watson, the old Bobby Watson, the late Bobby Watson's uncle, he's very fond of the boy. You might very well pay for Bobby's education.
Well, that would be proper. That way, Bobby Watson's daughter, might very well in her turn pay for the education of Bobby Watson's mother. That way, Bobby Watson's daughter could remarry. Has she have anyone in mind?
Yes, a cousin of Bobby Watson.
Oh, Bobby Watson.
Which Bobby Watson do you mean?
It is Bobby Watson, the son of the late Bobby Watson, the old Bobby Watson's other uncle.
No, it's not that one. It's someone else. It's Bobby Watson, the son of the old Bobby Watson, the late Bobby Watson's aunt.
Are you referring to Bobby Watson, the commercial traveler?
All Bobby Watsons are commercial travelers.
What a difficult trade. However, they do well at it.
Yes, when there's no competition.
And when is there no competition?
On Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Tuesdays.
3 days a week. And what does Bobby Watson do on those days?
Well, he rests, he sleeps.
But why doesn't Bobby Watson work on those days if there's no competition?
I don't know the answer to everything. Can you please stop asking such idiotic questions?
Are you trying to humiliate me?
No, very well I'm not.
Men, they're all alike. You sit there all day long with a cigarette in your mouth, you powder your nose, and you rue your lips 50 times a day, or else you drink like a fish.
Well, what if you saw men acting like women do? Smoking all day, powdering, rouging our lips, drinking whiskey?
It's nothing to me, and if you're only saying that to annoy me, I don't care for that kind of joking. You know that very well.
My little ducky daddles. What a little spitfire you are. I was only joking. What a ridiculous pair of old lovers we are. Come, let's turn off the lights and go bye-byes.
I am the butler. I've had a very pleasant afternoon. Went to the cinema with some women, saw a film with some men. After the cinema, we went to drink brandy and milk and read the newspaper.
Well, I hope that you spent a pleasant afternoon, that you went to the cinema with a woman, that you drank some brandy and milk.
And the newspaper.
Your guests, Mr. and Mrs. Martin, are at the door. They were waiting for me. They didn't dare come in by themselves. They were supposed to have dinner with you this evening.
Oh, yes. We were expecting them. And since they didn't give us appearance, we decided to have dinner without them. You should have not gone out.
Because you gave me permission.
Well, we didn't do it on purpose.
Want me a chamber pot?
My little Mark, please ask Mr. and Mrs. Martin to step in, and we'll go change quickly.
Why have you come so late? You're not very punctual. People should be polite, don't you understand? But come and sit down anyway now that you're here.
Excuse me, madam, but it seems to me, unless I'm mistaken, that I've met you before.
I believe I've met you somewhere too, sir.
Could it by any chance have been in Manchester that I caught a glimpse of you, madam?
That is indeed possible. I am originally from the city of Manchester, but I do not have a good memory. I can't say whether it was there I caught a glimpse of you or not.
Good God, that's curious. I, too, am originally from the city of Manchester, madam.
That is curious.
How curious it is. Only I, madam, I left the city about 5 weeks ago.
That is curious. How bizarre. What a coincidence. I left the city of Manchester about 5 weeks ago.
I took the 8:30 morning train. Arrived in London at 4:45.
How curious. That is bizarre. I took the same train, sir. I too.
Good Lord, how curious that is. Well, perhaps we saw each other on the train then, madam.
That is entirely possible. That is to say, not unlikely. And after all, why not? But I do not recall it, sir.
I traveled second class. There's no second class in England, but I always travel second class.
Well, that is curious. How bizarre. I traveled second class too, sir.
How curious that is. Perhaps we met in second class, my dear lady.
That is indeed possible. And that is to say, not unlikely. But I cannot say that I recall it, dear sir.
My seat. It was in coach 8, compartment 6, my dear lady.
That is curious. How bizarre. I was in coach number 6, compartment 8, dear sir.
How curious that is. And what a bizarre coincidence. Perhaps we met in compartment 6 then, my dear lady.
Oh, to be sure, but no, I cannot say that I recall it, sir.
To tell the truth, I don't remember it either, madam. However, I feel it's there that we saw each other, and it seems to me even very likely.
Oh, truly, yes, truly, sir.
I had seat number 3, right next to the window, madam.
Good Lord, I had seat number 6 next to the window across from you, dear sir.
How curious that is. What a coincidence. And bizarre. We were then seated facing each other. It's there that we must have seen each other.
That is possible, and even plausible, but I cannot be sure of it, sir.
To tell the truth, madam, I don't remember it either. However, I feel like we saw each other on that occasion.
It is curious, but I do not have a good memory, sir. I cannot say that I'm sure of it at all.
Madam, were you not the lady who asked me to put her suitcase in the luggage rack, thanked me, and then gave me permission to smoke?
Well, that must have been me. How curious, how curious. What a coincidence.
How curious that is. What a coincidence, and how bizarre. Perhaps it's there that we have met.
sure of it, sir.
Never mind that. You know, since coming to London, I've resided in Brumfield Street, my dear lady.
That is curious. How bizarre. What a coincidence. I, too, have resided in Brumfield Street since coming to London, sir.
Wow, that's curious. Perhaps we've met each other in Brumfield Street.
That is curious. It's indeed possible, but I do not recall it, sir.
I stay at number 19, my dear lady.
That is curious. What a bizarre coincidence. I reside at number 19, dear sir.
Perhaps we've met each other at that house, my dear lady.
That is curious and is entirely possible, but I do not recall it.
My flat is on the 5th floor, number 8, my dear lady.
Good Lord, what a coincidence. I reside on the 5th floor in flat number 8.
How curious. And bizarre. What a coincidence. You know, in my bedroom, there's a bed covered with a green eiderdown. This room with the bed and the eiderdown is located at the end of the corridor between the WC and the bookcase, my dear lady.
That is curious. What a bizarre coincidence. In my bedroom, there's a bed with a green eiderdown, and it's at the end of the corridor between the WC and the bookcase, dear sir.
How curious. Bizarre. Strange.
I know.
We then live in the same room and we sleep in the same bed. It's there that we must have met each other.
It is indeed curious, and it is possible that we met there, perhaps even last night. But I do not recall it, sir.
Wow.
I have a little girl, my little daughter. She lives with me. She's blonde. She has a white eye and a red eye. She's very beautiful. She's 2 years old, my dear lady.
That is curious. What a coincidence. I also have a daughter. She's 2 years old, has a white eye and a red eye. She's very pretty, and her name is Alice, too, dear sir.
How curious that is. What a coincidence. Perhaps they are the same.
It is curious, and yes, it is possible, dear sir.
Oh, then, madam, there can be no doubt about it. We have met each other before. And you're my own wife, Elizabeth. I found you again.
Oh, no, it's you,
Elizabeth and Donald are now too happy to be able to hear me. I therefore can let you in on a secret. Elizabeth is not Elizabeth. Donald is not Donald. Here's the proof. The child that Donald spoke of is not Elizabeth's daughter. They're not the same person. Yes, Donald's daughter has a white eye and a red eye, and Elizabeth's daughter has a white eye and a red eye. But Donald's daughter's left eye is white, and her right eye is red. Elizabeth's daughter's left eye is red, and the right eye is white. Therefore, all of Donald's elaborate system of deduction collapses in the face of this obstacle, and there goes his theory. Despite these extraordinary, bizarre, curious coincidences, which seem to be definitive proof, Donald and Elizabeth, not being parents of the same child, are not Donald and Elizabeth. Donald believes in vain that he is Donald. Elizabeth believes in vain that she is Elizabeth. Moreover, Donald believes vainly that she is Elizabeth. She believes vainly that he is Donald. These poor deluded souls. So who is the true Donald? Who is the true Elizabeth? Who's interested in prolonging this confusion? I don't know. Let's try not to know. Let's leave things as they are. Oh, my real name is Sherlock Holmes.
Now that we have found each other again, let us forget all that has not passed between us. Live as before and try not to lose each other again.
Yes, darling.
Oh, good evening, dear friends. Please forgive us for having made you wait so long. We thought that we should extend you the courtesy to which you are entitled, and as soon as we learned that you've been kind enough to give us the pleasure of coming to see us without prior notice, we hurried you just for the occasion.
We haven't had a thing to eat all day. We've been waiting 4 whole hours on you. Why have you come so late?
Oh, definitely.
You know, we all have colds.
Nevertheless, it's not chilly.
There's no dress.
Well, no, fortunately.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Do you not feel well?
No, he wet his pants.
Oh, sir. At your age, you shouldn't.
The heart is ageless.
Well, that's true.
So they say.
They also say the opposite.
The truth lies somewhere between them.
That's true.
Well, since you travel so much, you must have many interesting things to tell us.
My dear, tell us what you've seen today.
Oh, it's scarcely worth the trouble, and you wouldn't believe it anyways.
We're not going to question your sincerity.
Yes, you would have offended us if you thought that.
You're going to offend them, my dear, if you think that.
Well, I did see something extraordinary. Truly incredible.
Well, tell us quickly, my dear.
Well, this is going to be amusing.
At last.
Well, today, when I was going to the market to buy some vegetables, which are getting dearer and dearer,
Where is it all going to end?
You shouldn't interrupt, my dear. It's very rude.
in the street near the cafe, there was a man properly dressed, about 50 years old, not even that, who...
Who what?
Don't interrupt, my dear. You're disgusting!
You interrupted first, you bore.
What was this man doing?
Well, you're going to say that I was making this up. He was knelt down on one knee and he was bent over.
Oh.
Yes, bent over.
Impossible.
Yes. So I went near to see what he was doing and he was tying his shoelace, which had come undone.
Fantastic! If anyone else had told me this, I'd not believe it.
Oh, why not? One sees more interesting things when one walks around on a daily basis. For instance, today, in the underground, I myself saw a man sitting quietly, reading a newspaper.
What a character!
Perhaps it was the same man. Goodness, someone is ringing.
There must be somebody there. I'll go and see. No
I'll give you another example.
Goodness, someone is ringing.
There must be somebody there. I'll go and see. Nobody.
You were saying you were going to give us another example.
Oh, yes.
Goodness, someone is ringing.
Don't send me to open the door again.
But there must be someone there.
The first time there was no one. The second time, no one. Why do you think that there's someone there now?
Because someone is wrong.
That's no reason.
What? When one hears the bell ring, it means that someone is there to be let in.
That's not always the case. You've just seen otherwise.
In most cases, yes.
As for me, when I go to visit someone, I ring in order to be admitted. Thus, I conclude if one hears the doorbell ring, it is because someone is wrong.
That is true in theory, but in reality, things happen differently. You just seen otherwise.
Your wife is right.
Ugh, you women. You're always taking up for each other.
Well, I'll go and see, but you cannot say that I'm obstinate, but you will see that there's no one there. Yes, see? There's no one there. These men who always think they're right and who are always wrong.
Goodness, someone is ringing. There must be someone there.
Don't send me to open the door again. You just, experience teaches us when one hears the doorbell rings, it's because there's never anyone there.
That's not entirely accurate.
In fact, it's false. When one hears the doorbell ring, it is because someone is wrong.
He won't admit he's wrong.
My husband is obstinate too.
There's someone there.
No, there is not.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
I'll go. Oh, why, how do you do? It's the fire chief.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, Mrs. Smith. You appear to be angry.
You must forgive my wife. She's a little chagrined at having been proved wrong.
There's been an argument between Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Mr. Fire Chief.
Oh, this is no business of yours, and I beg you not to involve outsiders into our family arguments.
Oh, my dear, this is not so serious. The fire chief's an old friend of the family. His mother courted me, and his father asked for my daughter's hand in marriage if I ever had one. And he died waiting.
That's neither his fault nor yours.
Oh my God.
Well, what was it all about?
My husband was claiming that.
No, it was you who explained it.
Yes, it was she.
No, it was he.
Don't get excited. You tell me, Mrs. Smith.
Oh.
This is how it was. It is hard for me to speak openly to you but I know a fireman is also a confessor.
Well then.
My husband was claiming that each time the doorbell rings is because there's always someone there.
It's plausible.
And I was claiming that each time the doorbell rings, there's never anyone there.
It might seem strange.
But it has been proven, not by theoretical demonstrations, but by facts.
That's false. Since the fire chief is here, he rang the bell. I opened the door. There he was.
When?
But just now.
Yes, but that was only when you heard the doorbell ring the fourth time, because the third time doesn't count.
That's right. That's right. Only the first 3 times count.
Mr. Fire Chief, permit me in my turn to ask you some questions.
Go right ahead.
When we heard the bell ring, was it really you who had rung it?
Yes, it was I.
And you had rang in order to be admitted?
I do not deny it.
Yes, I was right. When one hears the doorbell ring, it is because someone has rung it. You cannot say that the fire chief is not someone.
I'm certainly not saying that I was speaking with the first 3 times, because the fourth time does not count.
When the doorbell rang the first time, was it you?
No, it was not I.
See, the doorbell rang and there was no one there.
Perhaps it was someone else.
Were you at the door for a long time?
3/4 of an hour?
And you saw no one?
No one. I'm sure of that.
Victory! I was right.
Not so fast. What were you doing at the door this whole time?
Nothing. I was just standing there. I was thinking of many things.
But the third time, it wasn't you who rang?
Yes, it was I.
But when we went to open the door, there was nobody there.
It's because I hid myself. That's a joke.
Don't make jokes, Mr. Fire Chief. This business is too sad.
In short, We still don't know whether or not when the doorbell rings there's someone there.
Never anyone.
Always someone.
I'm going to reconcile you. You're both partly right. When the doorbell rings, sometimes there's someone. Other times, there's no one.
That seems logical to me.
I think so too.
Life's very simple, really. Go on, kiss each other.
We just kissed each other a little while ago.
They'll kiss each other tomorrow. They have plenty of time.
Mr. Fire Chief, if you're not too pressed, have a seat and take off your helmet and get comfortable.
Excuse me, but I can't stay long. I should like to remove my helmet, but I haven't time to sit down. I must admit that I've come to see you for another reason. I am on official business.
Well, Mr. Fire Chief, what can we do for you?
I must beg you to pardon my indiscretion. Are you sure you don't mind in front of them?
Oh, say whatever you like.
We are old friends. They tell us everything.
Speak! Well, is there a fire here?
Why do you ask us that?
It's because I have orders to extinguish all the fires in the city.
All?
Yes, all.
I don't know. Do you want me to go and check?
There can't be a fire here. There's no smell of anything burning.
None at all? A little fire in the chimney? Something burning in the attic? Or in the cellar? A little fire just starting at least?
I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I don't believe that there's anything here at the moment. But if we do have something, I will notify you.
Please don't forget. It would be a great help.
That's a promise.
And there's nothing burning at your house either?
No, unfortunately.
Things aren't doing so well just now.
Very poorly. There's been almost nothing. A few trifles, a chimney, a barn. Nothing important. It doesn't bring in much. And since there are no returns, the profits on outputs are very meager.
Times are bad. That's true all over. It's the same with business and agriculture as it is with fires. Nothing is prospering.
No wheat, no fires.
And no floods either.
But there's some sugar.
That's because it's imported.
It's harder with fires. The tariffs are too high.
All the same, there's an occasional asphyxiation by gas, but that's unusual too. For instance, last week a young woman asphyxiated herself. She left her gas on.
Had she forgotten it?
No, but she thought it was her comb.
These confusions are always dangerous.
Did you go see the match dealer?
There's nothing doing there. He isn't short against fires.
Why don't you go see the vicar of Wakefield and use my name?
I don't have the right to extinguish clergymen's fires. The bishop will get angry. Besides, they put all their fires out themselves, or else I have them put out by Vestal virgins.
Go see the Durans.
I can't do that either. He's not English. He's only been naturalized. And while naturalized citizens have the right to own houses, they don't have the right to have them put out if they're burning.
Nevertheless, when they set fire to it last year, it was put out just the same.
He did that all by himself, clandestinely. But it's not I who would report him.
Well, neither would I.
Mr. Fire Chief, if you're not too pressed, why don't you stay a little while longer? You'd be doing us a favor.
Shall I tell you some stories?
Oh, by all means. How stories?
Some stories! Stories, yes!
And what is even more interesting is the fact that the fire chief's stories are all true. They're all based on experience.
I speak from my own experience. Truth. Nothing but the truth. No fiction.
That is right. The truth is never found in books, only real life.
Begin!
Begin.
He's beginning!
Excuse me. Don't look at me that way. You embarrass me. You know that I'm shy.
Oh, how charming!
Well, I'm gonna try to begin anyhow. But promise me that you won't listen.
How are we going to hear you if we don't listen?
I didn't think of that.
I told you he's just a boy.
Oh, the sweet child.
Oh my God. Oh God.
Chin up.
Well then.